All right, China reacting overnight to the U.S. airstrike that killed a top Iranian general in Baghdad. Yunus Yoon joins us now with more. China's involved in this entire thing. We're not going to talk about phase one, phase two, all that stuff, but it's certainly a big part of the story as well in Iran's relationship with China.
Yeah, and we'll likely see Iran moving closer and closer into China's orbit. But China did respond overnight to urging restraint of all parties, but it said especially for the United States. And the Foreign Ministry had also added that it opposes the use of force in international relations, and also said that the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Iraq should be respected. So, as you guys know, sovereignty issues and safeguarding sovereignty and territorial integrity is really important for China, because they're always worried about what this might mean for other countries getting involved in what China sees as internal affairs. The overall impact, though, will be very likely that Iran would build its relationship even closer with China. In fact, just this week, the foreign minister of Iran was in Beijing, and the Chinese foreign minister actually had said that both countries need to stand up against bullying and unilateralism from the United States. So this is his fourth visit there. This is after President Xi earlier this year had said that China would continue to promote development with Iran no matter how the situation changes. So the relationship, obviously strategic, because China wants to build its Belt and Road Initiative. They see Iran as critical to that. Also oil. So China is one of the biggest importers of Iranian oil, despite the sanctions. So this is a relationship that China thinks is very, very important.
In terms of the sovereignty issues, how is China interpreting this as the U.S. getting involved in sovereign issues when this was, you know, Iran's leader, military leader in Iraq,
right,
kind of fomenting all kinds of other issues, not in Iran, but throughout the region?
Well, it didn't specify exactly what it meant by that. But at the same time, anytime the Chinese see an issue that is that appears as though it's going to infringe upon sovereignty of another nation, they're very quick to respond that way. And a lot of it is because they're laying down a line to say, you know, the United States or any other country shouldn't get involved in other countries' affairs.
But it seems that that is what Iran's been doing, getting involved in other countries' affairs here. This was not dealing with Iranian issues. This was dealing with regional issues and the chaos that they've been spreading throughout the region.
You're right. But from the Chinese perspective, they would see this as Iraq suddenly having its territory infringed upon. And so that's, from China's perspective, something that could then lead to steps where maybe the U.S. would decide one day that it wants to have a strike on China because of an issue that it feels is important.
Any way you look at this complicates the trade talks on yet another level.
Yeah, it does. And it actually, I think, affects the whole strategic relationship with the U.S. I think what's also interesting is that from China's perspective, there's been a line of thinking in China that the U.S. has been very much involved in the Middle East. And while that's been happening, China has been able to do what it needs to do to build up its own strength and develop its what it needs to do in the region. So not necessarily all bad from China's perspective.